So we just looked at the largest merchandise export exposures to China, which clearly represents about 16% of global GDP, and it's mostly crude exports for Oman, for Kuwait, also for Saudi to some degrees. The percentage of GDP are quite substantial. In theory, should the infection rate peak in March, growth is likely to recover pretty rapidly, even in the second quarter of this year. But to some degree, if infection peak higher and later, some of this demand for crude will just be lost. So that's an issue. Also, if you look at the Emirates, actually, Emirates has substantial services exposure to China as well, logistics, tourism. So there's considerable exposure there, as well as Qatar on the gas side, and actually gas is, in some respects, more difficult to redirect towards other consumers compared to crude oil.
So, of course, the Middle East region really not immune to a lot of the fears and the concerns around the spreading coronavirus. A lot of this, as you point out, relates back to China as a key export market for a lot of these economies, particularly on the oil side. What's the S&P overall assumption on the impact that this is having in China?
Well, and again, on this, as the World Health Organization said yesterday, all scenarios are still on the table. But to model the impact on growth for China, we just had to come up with an assumption on where infections would peak. So we assumed they would peak at the end of March. On that assumption, we shaved 0.7 percentage points off of our growth projection for China this year. So we're looking for 5.0 instead of 5.7. But we also took the view that most of that is clawed back in 2021. So you would see growth coming back in China, 6.4, also on the back of stimulus measures, monetary and also fiscal, to be introduced by the Chinese government. That could benefit clearly the rest of the world, a lot of emerging markets.
Hey everybody, it's Hadley Gamble from our new CNBC Middle East Bureau in Abu Dhabi. Thanks for stopping by. Now to watch more, you can try one of the videos that just popped up on your screen. And don't forget to subscribe.